Hi there, my name's Alistair Kennedy and I'm the Sociable Social Worker, and I give practical advice to social workers and those wanting to foster and adopt. And in this video, this is going to primarily focus on fostering, and I'm going to give you some top tips on how to manage allegations and complaints. So before I give you my top tips on managing allegations and complaints, you've obviously visited this video because you've had an allegation or a complaint made about you, or you're worried about would a complaint be made when you're fostering or even adopting. Let's be clear, allegations and complaints are two different things. An allegation is a very, very serious matter that can be taken up by the local authority, the police, and a complaint will be dealt with at quite a low level. So allegations and complaints are very, very different. But in terms of allegations, there's roughly about 78% of allegations are usually unfounded. And the reason children and young people make complaints is that they have been taken from their home, that they are anxious and worried, that their birth parents are putting pressure on them to make allegations, that the birth parents are making allegations. And the reality is that some children make allegations to think they're going to be moved from the placement, and the reality is sometimes that happens. So what I want to start with is just to say, don't worry so much about allegations. They are going to happen, but as I said, research shows that about 78% of allegations are unfounded. So top tip number one, don't lose heart. A lot of foster carers get allegations made about them, and as I said, a lot of them are unfounded. And sometimes children make allegations or confess things that have happened because they are feeling secure in placement. So don't worry about that. And the reality is that they'll be investigated very carefully and very thoroughly without an impact to you or your family, hopefully. And the reality is that child should come back to you. And it might be that the birth children or birth family are putting on pressure onto that child, and that child feels a bit guilty. So stick with the process. Speak to your supervising social worker, speak to Foster Talk or whoever you use as your support mechanism, and let them guide you through the process. Top tip number two, realise if you're new to fostering or this is the first time you've had an allegation, this isn't going to be the last time this happens. Allegations do happen pretty regularly, but what I would say to you is, for me as a social worker, the resilient carers are the ones who learn from the allegations or even a low-level complaint about their care, and they move on from it. The ones who fail at fostering are the ones who take everything to heart, don't listen to the advice they've been given, and pack it in at the first hurdle. That's not what we want from foster carers. We want consistency, we want empathy, and we want people that can work through the process. Top tip number three, check out your agency's policies on what they deal with in terms of what's the difference between an allegation and what's the difference between a complaint. And as I said before, the two are very, very different. There's a complaint that might be about your care of a child, and then allegations, which could be something very different. So make sure you've read your policy, and as I said before, talk to Foster Talk or Fostering Network, whoever you use, and make sure you spend time with your supervising social worker. And sometimes what happens is agencies or local authorities will say, well, your supervising social worker can't come and talk to you now because that would jeopardise a court case. Now, that again is where you need to figure out, is this an allegation or is this a complaint? Because that's quite strong language. So always find that out, because it should be that your supervising social worker, if they're experienced enough, should be able to manage not to talk to you about the allegation, but still carry out low level and decent supervision with you. If you're a new foster carer or an experienced foster carer, you'll remember during your assessment we always talked about make allies and making allies with other foster carers. So it's important that more experienced foster carers might be able to tell you how they managed allegations, how they've managed complaints. So create that little network around you. Use the support groups, because they're going to be vitally important if an allegation or a complaint is made, and you won't feel so isolated. You'll feel safer, and actually they'll be able to verify to you that actually a lot of these allegations and complaints are unsubstantiated. So my final point, I'm not going to go into child protection procedures and all that, just to say that these allegations are very, very rare, as I've said. If you don't get support during an allegation or a complaint, then make sure you push for it. If you're not getting the minutes from child protection meetings or from your review meetings, push for those. Make sure you get the advice from Foster Talk, Fostering Network, or a lawyer, but make sure you push for those minutes of those meetings. If you have to go back to fostering panel, don't worry about it. That's standard practice within most agencies and most local authorities. Just think of it as a learning curve and actually say to the panel, actually, this is what I've learned from it, and now we've moved on, and this is how we're going to support children in the future. And you know, if you have made a mistake, fess up to it. It's better to fess up, to say, you know, I should have done this better, than just deny. If you have made a mistake in the care of a child, no one's going to, you know, crucify you for it. We all make mistakes, no matter who is a parent. Everybody makes mistakes. Okay, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, please. That would be a big help to me. And good luck in your fostering journey.